Welcome to this contemplative talk. This is the first contemplative talk on the Silent Mystic channel. This is not something for entertainment or intellectual engagement, but rather it is something to be experienced as you sit in meditation. It is not a guided meditation. In fact, meditation is only sitting in silence. There is no technique to meditation. So I invite you to find a seated position where you feel comfortable and yet alert. And just close your eyes and sit in silence. And this contemplative talk is for words to come from the silence as we sit together. This time together, this experience won't be filled with words. In fact, we are all listening together, listening inward to the silence. And if any words come out of it, they are spoken here. But you can expect space between the words. We may be sitting in long moments of silence together, and there is no set time. When you sit in meditation, in silence with no technique, try to sit without a timer. You might notice that the mind is in a different space when it doesn't even have time to look forward to. The session is simply done when it's finished. The spirit, the divine within knows what that time is. There is just the perfect time that we are supposed to sit together. The challenge of contemplative speaking is that most of the time speaking is done using the intellect, the ego mind, as it responds to stimuli in the outside world. It's using past memories, past learnings, accumulated information to speak, to give its opinions and thoughts about things. So we are used to speaking while engaging with the outer world of the senses. But contemplative speaking is different. You might have heard of contemplative reading, contemplative writing. And these various areas of going inward to the divine they are listening inward in order to create, whether it's writing or speaking or singing, listening. Always listening inward. So as you have your eyes closed, you're not engaging with the outer world of the senses, but instead you are listening inward to the spirit or the divine within that is prompting you with the words to speak. So this speech is coming from a very different place than you would normally find it in the world. Speech is often reactionary. Normal speaking in the world is often reacting to what we are experiencing in the world. Contemplative speaking is different. It's not reacting. In fact, it is resting instead of reacting. Resting in God, resting in the peace within. In this way, you are aligned with the vertical as you even sit up straight with your spine straight. It's a kind of symbol of you being aligned with the vertical, with the divine, with God. Without getting caught up in the world of the horizontal. The horizontal mind state of living in linear time and appeasing people and social norms. The vertical is in a different direction to all of that. The intention is that as we come together and sit in silence, listening within, and absorbing this talk or the words that come out of the silence, that we start to sink together into the one mind that we truly are. We are not many separated minds. We are only one collective mind. So may we find that joining in this experience together, joining in our true oneness. This way of speaking is very free. It's free of the social norms, what is expected to be said. And it's also free of any expectation of speech at all. In the world, when there is a long pause in a conversation or speech, it is called as awkward or uncomfortable. But in spirituality and meditation, the spaces in between the words, the silence, is very precious and important. Silence underlies all sound, all speech. So we must become comfortable with silence in order to be able to speak correctly. We need to be aligned with our true nature of silence. In order to produce any sound that has integrity, If one is not grounded in that silence and they are producing sound based on what they have been conditioned to do, then that is all that it is. It's only conditioning that is being shared. Conditioning, all conditioning, is of the ego. We want to let go of all conditioning, all beliefs, and just rest in the silence and the peace of God. An interesting experience when you close your eyes and sit in silence is that the world of form that you know by the senses is removed. At least two of your dominant senses of sight and sound are removed or minimized. With eyes closed, there is no world of form. In silence, there is no noise. It essentially takes away everything that we have known as a person in this world. Sitting silently with eyes closed removes the experience of the person. There is no world that you can see. And there are no usual sounds that you can hear. It seems that all you can see is blankness or blackness or a kind of void. This space, this inner space, is the unknown. People in this world have spent a lot of time and energy trying to explore the outer areas and realms of existence, different countries, different remote parts of the world, even attempting to fly into so-called outer space, spending great great deal of energy on that, trying to explore the unknown. In comparison, those same explorers would not have gone very deep into the inner space. That compulsive need to go outward, explore outward with ambition, with great ambition. That comes from ego thinking, the ego thought system. The ego always seeks to go outward, seek outward for happiness, for fulfillment. So when one has great ambition to go out there and explore outer space, it is usually an indication that this mind has not turned inward. And has not gone deeply inward enough to drop those ambitions. When one goes superficially inward, just by closing the eyes, they see only blankness and blackness. The world disappears. And this is quite terrifying for the mind caught in the ego thought system that always seeks outward, always seeks in a world for happiness, for some kind of fulfillment. The mind can get very restless, sitting with eyes closed, with nothing to see, nothing to look at, nothing to engage with. The ego mind looks at sitting with eyes closed in silence as a complete waste of time. And this is essentially how the person has been constructed. The person, the body, is a projection of the ego mind. The mind is projecting a world. It's projecting a body. And the way it experiences this world is through the five senses. The five senses are all directed outward. Sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch. They're all designed to experience a world of form. But none of these five senses are designed to look inward. There's nothing inward the ego mind has told us there's nothing here to look at, so don't even bother. Look outside. There's so much to see, so much to hear, smell, taste, touch, experience this world. The ego has enthralled the mind. To be engaged in a kind of amusement park, a playground for the five senses, to indulge in the five senses. And this mind that has been hooked into the ego thought system, to look outward for happiness, to look away from yourself for happiness. This mind seeks God everywhere, seeks itself everywhere. That's what you are truly looking for. It seeks it in a piece of bread, it seeks it in a cake, in a dessert, in a vacation, in a trip to somewhere exotic. It seeks to find itself in a marriage, in a partner, in a relationship, in getting recognition, in being on stage, in performing, in going on every ride in the amusement park. And it seems to find fleeting moments of excitement, maybe even what it calls happiness in these different things. But then it fades away. And the mind is left once again confused and seeking itself in something else. Or perhaps the same object which gave a sense of fleeting happiness once before. It might find that each time it seeks in the same object, it doesn't find the same sense of happiness every time. Sometimes it is very disappointed. This is not it, the mind says. There's some sense of dissatisfaction. Every day as you go about this world, you will likely feel this sense of dissatisfaction from where you looked for happiness. and did not find exactly what you were looking for. You will never find exactly what you are looking for in this world. You will find some form, some product that is sold to you by the ego projection as a solution, a shiny new object to feast your eyes upon and your other senses upon. You will be sold something or another to engage with that promises this time, this object will give you that, what you are looking for. And for a short while, it might even feel true. The newness of this new shiny object in the form of a new person, a new dish, a new experience, a new voyage, a new achievement, a new baby. For a short time, it seems that that sense of dissatisfaction is alleviated. That seeking is paused. And the mind thinks, I have found my source. I found myself in this object. I have finally arrived. But unfortunately, this feeling doesn't last. Something in the object, imperfections, will start to reveal themselves. And the mind that had put this object upon a pedestal, fully expecting to return home, home to God, home to self, through this object, is now completely disappointed. This is what is called as the idol falling from the pedestal. And the mind experienced great turmoil, confusion, disillusionment, disappointment. But the ego, after mourning the loss of this object perhaps, convinces the mind that it has just not found the right object to engage with. It just hasn't found the right thing in the world to experience with the five senses. Keep looking outward. You will find the next thing. So it discards the previous object and moves on to the next one, the next shiny new object. Maybe this will show me who I am. Maybe this will give me exactly what I'm seeking. And so this cycle continues, and it has continued for your whole life in this way. This has been your experience in the world, living from one object to another as the monkey mind moves from one attachment to another, seeking its true self in the world. It has looked everywhere, but has always come out disappointed. The only place you haven't looked is within. The last place the ego wants you to go is within, to the inner space, rather than exploring outer space. It puts great obstacles and barriers for you to turn away from the five senses in order to go within. Withdrawing your attention from the five senses is what is known in yoga as pratyahara. As a turtle withdraws its arms and legs and head into its shell, you are turning your attention away from the five senses, withdrawing within yourself into that space that you were told by the world of the ego, the world of your own ego programming, that you were told the inner space is not a place to go to. You were directed away from this inner space all your life. So, are you not curious? What is this space that this world has told me to stay away from? That this world has told me is boring, is nothing, is a waste of time. Don't bother looking inside, says the ego. There's nothing there. Come, I will show you another shiny new object to engage with. But don't look inside, there's nothing there. There's only blankness and a void and empty space. Look at all the forms. Engage your senses. As you can see, all of this is a trick that this one mind, this collective mind, has been fooled by since our birth into this world. Even taking birth into this world is an illusion, it's not real. Just as you don't remember the beginning of a dream, you don't remember the beginning of your birth in this world. You just know that you wake up every day in this strange world, in this body. Seeing a world where all of your experiential faculties, your senses, are directing you outward. And the whole world, everything is telling you to avoid going inward, to avoid being silent. Why are you so quiet? The world says. That's the ego speaking through different people. It does not want silence. It does not want quiet. Because you are looking through the eyes of the ego, you are seeing a world of form, of matter, of physical objects, of multiplicity, of separation, of separate objects. This is what is called as Maya, the illusion of separateness and multiplicity. This is not the real world. The world of multiplicity, of Maya, is not the real world. So what you are looking at is an illusion. The five senses are showing you an illusion. The ego, the false self, is showing you a false world. This is not your home. Which means if you are seeking yourself in the false self's world, you will be disappointed over and over again. It's a trick. The mind is being fooled. Even as we look within, using the eyes of the ego, and only see blankness and blackness and nothingness, a void, just empty of everything. Even that is an illusion. The ego wants the mind to believe that there is nothing here in this silent, still space. It wants you to believe that the valueless world of form is very valuable, and that the valuable inner space is valueless. So you can see that everything you perceive through the ego mind, through the ego thought system, and through the five senses is actually upside down. You see value in the world of form, and you see nothing within. This is how you've been trained and programmed by the ego since birth, or so-called birth, into this world. This is all a trick. It's all an illusion. It's a deliberate programming of your mind to turn away from yourself, to turn away from the truth, and to turn toward a false world of false promises that will never give you what you are looking for. Since you came into this world, you are looking for something. You are looking for yourself. You are looking for God. You are looking for the truth of who you are. And everywhere you turn, you can only find a veil that's being pulled over your eyes. And wherever you turn in this world, you see the same veil. So the message here is to look in the last place that the ego wants you to look. To go where this world has told you not to go. This world has you working, grinding, nonstop in a job, trying to get somewhere, trying to feed some family, trying to jump from one aspiration to another in this world, none of which means anything because this world is just a dream. It is a projection of the ego. It is an illusion. The way to outsmart the ego that is a planted thought system in our mind is to reverse the direction in which we are looking for happiness. Look inward. The ego has told you, don't look here. Go in the opposite direction of what this world has told you. All the true spiritual teachers and gurus and saints and sages have said the same thing. Look inward. The one who looks outward dreams, but the one who looks inward awakens. And when you consistently look inward, you will start to find that there is a different reality that you have been protected from. There's a different reality within you. That's the real world. You must seek the real world within yourself. That blackness, that blankness, nothingness, emptiness, silence, the void, whatever you are experiencing as through the ego's eyes when you close your eyes to the world, that starts to reveal a kind of mystery that has been long lost and thrown away. That mystery reveals what you're looking for. Whatever the explorers and travelers have been looking for out there for so long, you will find when you go inward. The inward world is a world of complete mystery to the ego mind. But be brave and go inward. And as you do so, you will receive help from ones that you may not see with the five senses, but you can feel from a deeper place than the five senses. The five senses and the body is not who you really are. So don't rely on that to tell you the truth. In fact, it will only show you what is false. But as you go inward, the inner reality that you previously thought as just an empty void starts to reveal something real about you. You start to feel something real about yourself. And as you do this, the world starts to become less real in your experience, more dreamlike, more fluid, more changing. As you go inward, you will see that you are gaining more power, and the outer world that seemed to have so much power over you in the past is losing its power over you. As you, the real you, gains power through your awareness and your attention, the outer world loses its power. Just like Alice in Wonderland, as she starts to wake up, the dream loses its power over her. In the same way, as God wakes up in you, this illusory world loses its power over you. Things can no longer upset you because you are on a different journey now. You are not following what the dream characters do or have been programmed to do, for they are only mental projections, objects of your own mind, a deceived mind that believed in a thought system that was completely unlike who you really are. So look in the direction away from what the world has told you. It is only there that you will find the truth. You will realize yourself outside of the five senses, outside of this body, outside of this world. Outside this world is the true home to where you belong. That is called as the kingdom of heaven, nirvana, moksha. Your real home. This is where you really belong. And that is where you still are existing in this very moment. You never left that place. Your awareness is simply not on that right now. So you believe that you are somewhere else. You believe that you are in this world, but you are actually not in this world. Where does a dream go when it is dissolved? It doesn't go anywhere. It simply never existed. In the same way, this world won't go anywhere. It will simply cease to exist in your awareness. And as you sit with eyes closed in silence, you will cultivate this awareness to sit within yourself, to be within yourself. As that awareness grows, the awareness of the kingdom of heaven will grow. As your awareness of this kingdom grows, you will lose awareness of this dream. You will start forgetting aspects and objects of this dream. They will start to disappear. This world is always on the verge of collapse because it is a dream. That's why you see movies of the end of the world. There's a kind of almost an obsession with the end of the world because this world is always ending. It never, in fact, existed. Seek the real world within yourself. But this must be cultivated regularly, regularly placing your awareness within yourself into that empty space that the ego has told you not to look, in silence, where the ego has told you there is nothing here. Look in the secret place. This is where you will find exactly what you are looking for. Thank you for joining this contemplative talk. We'll continue sitting in silence for a few moments. May you awaken to your true self within. Thank you.